The key to successful manufacturing planning and control is having a really deep understanding of what capacity is available to you and what capacity you need. This means that we need to be able to match the capacity required with the capacity available. The starting point to establishing the capacity that we have available is to define the manufacturing calendar. The manufacturing calendar takes into account the number of shifts that our production facility has, whether they are days which we don't work, such as weekends, holidays, and planned maintenance shutdown. This gives us the building blocks to determine available capacity. If we plan our schedule based on theoretical capacity, which is the most perfect condition, without taking things into account such as comfort breaks for the workers, machine setup and shutdown times, etc., we will always end up with a production schedule which cannot be fulfilled. This is because the theoretical capacity will always be much more than the available capacity. Another measurement which is used is demonstrated capacity. This is determined by observing a work center over a period of time to measure the capacity for that particular work center. This is a very useful measurement because some work centers can work faster than others for a number of reasons. It could be that two work centers perform exactly the same work, but the one which is quicker has newer equipment. Required capacity, on the other hand, is an accumulation of all the capacity requirements for all the jobs or work centers that are to be loaded on the production facility. Every works order will have a routing sheet, which provides a list of all the work centers that are affected by the works order, and most importantly, the amount of time needed at each work center to complete the job. When the production scheduler is in the process of planning the load for the day, all of these factors must be taken into account to make the best use of the capacity available. The formula that is used for calculating the capacity available is the number of shifts times utilization times efficiency. Utilization is the actual usage of our production facility as a percentage of the time available. Time available can be determined by using the theoretical capacity for a facility and dividing this by the actual output of the facility for a given period. Efficiency is the output of a percentage of time worked. In essence, efficiency is being able to accomplish something with the least waste of time and effort. In other words, making the best use of the time available. In order to measure efficiency, we need to know the actual input and the actual output, and this is presented as a percentage. The bigger the variety of products that we produce, the more complexity there is to allocating capacity to meet demands. If we look at the production schedule for a given period, the balancing act of keeping work centers busy at a constant rate is a real art. The scheduler will want to load all the work centers with works orders to keep them busy, without compromising the demand plan by delaying some jobs and speeding up others in order to achieve a balanced load. By default, CRP assumes infinite capacity, which is why the role of the scheduler is so important. The use of computerized tools is essential for a busy production facility so that the necessary data is available at all times. A very important control mechanism is being able to identify and cope with bottleneck operations. These are work centers which are slower than others, and this could be for a number of reasons, such as the work at the bottleneck work center is more complex, or the equipment is older, or the startup time is longer, etc. But whatever the reason, the schedulers need to address this because a bottleneck work center will slow down the entire facility. Batch splitting and operation overlapping are some of the techniques used to manage this. As you can see, the measurements of capacity are important to understand, as we need to know the capacity available to us so that we don't overload or underload our production facility.